Hello everybody, it's Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So, what's coming up next for you in your love life? What's next? Well, it can be anything and it can also be for anyone that's single or in a relationship. You just have to adapt what I'm saying to fit your particular situation and circumstances. So I've set out three options. Option 1, which is the chocolate lime sweet. Option 2, which is the lemon sherbet sweet. And option number 3, which is the gold wrapped toffee, so the gold toffee. So I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, relax, and when you feel ready and open, ask yourself the question, what's next for me in my love life? When you feel ready, make your choice. Don't doubt yourself, don't overthink it, just trust your instincts. When you've made your decision, then go ahead and click on the timestamp provided, and if you need a bit more time, then please press pause. Okay, number 1, those that chose the chocolate lemon, a very delicious sweet, if I may recommend it. This is your reading. Before we get started, I want to let you all know that I have published my own ebook. I've self-published it on Kindle. It's quite an easy process if any of you have ever been curious about it. I didn't find it too difficult, but I've written a book on learning tarot reading. I've put a link in the description box for you to click and find it on Amazon. It's literally called Learn Tarot by Oak Tree, and it's all the wisdom that I have acquired over the past 20 odd years of tarot reading, and I've put descriptions of all the tarot cards. It's a nice, easy, accessible, fun to read book on learning tarot so that you can acquire this power for yourself. Buy your own deck, use the book, and become as proficient as I am. Sales pitch over, let's move on. What's ahead for you in your love life? So let's do it this way. We start off with the 8 of Pentacles, then we've got the 4 of Wands, then we've got Silver Sisters, time to take protection from toxic thoughts and energy. We have Patchouli, which is purpose. I'm going to fit that on there. Yule, which is rebirth. Make sure you can still see the cards. Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith and be assertive. Now, I've also written out the titles to several poems on these little bits of paper, and I'm going to shuffle you out a poem which we'll look at the end and see how that helps you, because I like it when people do things like a song title from your future spouse. I quite like them, I think they're sweet, but I thought more my thing is to do a poem. So I'm just going to shuffle you out one. Oh, that fell out. We'll look at that afterwards. So, what's ahead for you in your love life? I think the overriding message that really strikes me is that it's now time to be assertive and take some risks. You've sort of maybe got stuck in a rut, maybe your love life's been a bit stagnant, but what's ahead for you, what's coming next in your love life, is that I think you could meet someone that's different to the sort of person that you're normally attracted to, and you need to take a risk on them. Or you're going to meet somebody that you would be very, very attracted to, but you wouldn't normally dare approach them. And the message is, you're going to take that risk, or the advice is, take that risk. You're going to be working really hard at something. I feel that meeting someone can come through work, or you practicing something that you greatly enjoy. So it could be something that you don't do for an income, or maybe it only brings a small amount of money for you, but that you're not an amateur and you're not a fully flush professional at it, but it could be something that you do in your spare time but you actually have a talent at, because I'm struck by the fact that he's painting on his pottery. So it sort of strikes me that this could be something that's very crafty that you do, like maybe you do your own pottery, for instance, or you're a carpenter or something along those lines. And it could be connected to that thing that you do to relax, or that you do for the purposes of making something. For others of you, yeah, it is to do with work, where you're working hard at your career. You know, you're at your place of work. But overall, the message for me is that the purpose for you next in your love life is to be reborn into someone new. If you've had poor luck at love, if you're just coming out of a bad relationship, if you've been single for a while, you are meant to absolutely leave that behind, to become the person you always meant to be. This also is very important for me here. The Four of Wands, this is the, what's it called? The Fairy Tale Tarot, that's it. And it has a story attached to each card. I've used it in another reading. What's the next chapter in your story? That was a good video. Check that out if you can. And the Musicians of Bremen, if you haven't heard of it before, look it up. It's a great story. The animals are like animals on a farm. It starts off with the donkey, realises that he's become too old to be of any use and that his owner is going to kill him. And it's the same for the dog, the cat and the rooster, that they've outlived their usefulness. So in a hard-working farm, they've got to go. So they decide they're not going to settle for being killed. The donkey goes off first, leaves his farm, travels a bit, because he decides he's going to make his way to the city in order to become a musician and to find his fortune and try and find a new life for himself. Along the way, he meets the dog. The dog shares the same story. I'm too old. I knew I was going to get killed and I'm going to go to the city as well. They meet the cat. All three of them meet the rooster. You get the story. So I get this feeling that some of you possibly feel that you're too old, or that you've got too much baggage. Or maybe you're in that transitional phase from one phase of life to another, like you're leaving your teens and going to your early 20s, or you're like in your late 30s going towards your 40s, and you're thinking, well, what's I'm sort of jaded from the past, all my usefulness has gone, what's left for me? But there is still love out there for you. You're meant to find it, but what's stopping the love coming through is that I think some of you just don't trust that it's going to happen. And you're in this sort of, I would say, in a toxic energy vibe. That you're sort of feeling that you're too old, you've had your chance at love, or you never had your chance in the first place. I almost feel like your hair's going grey, maybe. But it's saying, no, you've got a purpose. Follow your purpose. Be assertive. Be confident. Recognise that you are worthy of love. It doesn't really matter what you look like. It's who you are as a person and how you make other people feel. As long as you're presentable and make the best of what assets that you do have, you'll be fine. It really, really is important to be a good partner for other people. Try and be Mr. or Mrs. Right for your ideal person. And once you've got that purpose in mind of what you want, who you want to be, and also if this is external to your love life, that you've sort of been rootless maybe in your career or, spiritually, once you get that purpose behind you, you're halfway there. You're going to be reborn. Overall, I can say that change is coming in your love life, and you must change yourself in order to facilitate this change coming to you. And you must trust that love is coming. Even if you say, I've been in this situation before, Oak Tree. I've tried so hard, I've waited so long, I've really tried to manifest this love of my life and nothing's happening. Well, the missing ingredient is that you don't trust in the situation. You don't trust that you're attractive enough, or that you don't trust, you allow that little negative voice to take over and undo all of your good work. It's time for you to have a brand new life. And I think it's one that you hadn't anticipated before. Like the animals always thought that there'd be farm animals and stay there till the end of the days, and then recognising that their life as farm animals, as that kind of productive you know, feature of a farm, but instead they're going to go off to the city to find a new future for themselves where they're productive in a different way. So I think whatever's gone on in your love life previous to watching this video, that's changing. That is changing. And I feel it's being single and being alone and sort of being, you know, you might not have even been dating. You might have sort of taken yourself out of the dating scene or trying to find relationships and focused on other things. But the message is, no, that's changing now. It's time for you to change. Even if you think it's too late, it's not. Now is the time for you to change. And work on it. Work on it. Because rebirth is here, and I feel it's you're leaving the winter and going into spring. So if you've had a dry spell, it's ending that. I feel some of you could come across someone, if you're like, no, I am looking, and you meet someone at work, I think this person's going to be assertive, which is why it's important for you to also be quite assertive. You don't want to get stomped over. But I feel that, because this angel here is taking off the mask, I think a mask is revealed, that who you really are is revealed, and this attracts someone new into your life, and they are as assertive as you should be, and I think they're going to ask you out, and I don't think that they're going to back off when you're sort of like, oh, I'm always single, no, I'm just content in my own little life. They're like, no, we're going to go out on a date. And this is where the change happens. This change happens. And as I say, it's really important for you to realise that there's life in the old dog yet, if you are of that age, and that you should seize on the opportunity of a new life for yourself and let go and protect yourself against any negative thoughts. So let's see what your poem is. We've got Permissive Society, Connie Bensley. Okay, so I'll put page 40 small because I'm going to read out the poem to you from the book. I flicked through the pages and then just wrote them down. This is a nice short one. Permissive Society. Wake, for the dawn has put the stars to flight, and in my bed a stranger. So once more, what seemed to be a good idea last night appears this morning sober, rather poor. See that? Pause it if you want to read it. So that speaks to me that some of you maybe have made those choices. You've not been single, but you sort of got in the habit of finding people really, really attractive, and then when you've been with them for a while, realised you've kissed a frog and they haven't turned into a prince or a princess. And I think that's what's going to change for you. And so I think actually reevaluating it is that a lot of you have really given it a good try. You've really, really given it a good try. You've had a few failures, but the situation is saying don't rest on your failures. Don't constantly look at what hasn't worked. Trust in the situation, be assertive, be yourself, be ready for love and be looking for love and constantly working through to be, as I say, a better partner. And there is love for you. It's almost like what's blocking you is you. So if you have faith and have trust, you are going to meet someone great. And that's what's going to be happening next in your love life. So to me, it looks like a lot of self-work, that you've got a few things to work through. And I know I normally like to be able to just say to you, oh, straight off, yeah, you're going to meet someone. But I'm going to say that if you meet someone, you're in real danger of just falling into the same old cycle of Connie Bensley's waking up with someone that seemed attractive, but then when you're in a more rational phase, when you got through that infatuated, lustful phase, that you're looking and saying, actually, you're just not, we're not really compatible. And I want you to get past that, because I think a lot of you watching this want to find good, solid, long-term love with somebody that's really great, and that is there for you. let go of the toxic issues, be assertive, stand for what you really want. And if the new people that come into your life are not who you really want, if you know that they're not the sort going to give you the sort of relationship that you want, remember your purpose and aim to be reborn into a new way of having relationships. So there's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to contact me for a private reading or anything, they're open at the moment. So just send me an email at oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. It's all in the description box, but you take very good care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay then, those of you that chose number 2, the lemon sherbet. I love sweets and I do love lemon sherbet, so recommended if you've not tasted them before. I also want to tell you that I've written an ebook on learning tarot. It's called Learn Tarot by Oak Tree. I've put a link in the description box. So if you're curious or you're on your journey to learning about tarot cards, it's a good little book to start you off with. It's got some exercises in it, and I've written an awful lot about each card to help you on your journey. So go ahead and buy it. So my little advert over. Let's get on to the important business of the reading. So what's next for you in your love life? Ooh, good start. So we've got the Star card. Then we've got Justice. The story attached to that, because it's the fairy tale tarot, is the Juniper Tree. Ooh, fairy lovers, new love, courtship, romance, falling in love. We've got Eucalyptus, Breathe, Scrying Mirror, the Shadow. Now, I only wanted one romance angel card, but you got 2. So we've got heart-to-heart conversations and very soon. And then finally, we've got meditation brings answers. Now, one of the things I like about other tarot readers pick a card videos is when they'll do something like they'll put a song in it, or like a letter from your future spouse type thing. Well, my style is to do love poems. So what I've done is written various different love poems on here. And I'm going to shuffle around a bit and get one for your reading. One fell out. Before, what I did was looked at the end with number 1. I looked at the end, and then after that I'd wished I'd actually had it as part of the reading, because it really made sense in terms of the reading, obviously, and it sort of enhanced the way I interpreted the cards. So I'm going to actually do that now. So, A Birthday by Christina Rossetti. I'll put page 74 because I'm going to read it out to you. I don't know if you can see, because normally it would have fit there, but you got an extra love angel card. I think you can just see it there. So let me get the book. Page 74, Christina Rossetti, A Birthday. My heart is like a singing bird, whose nest is in a watered shoot. My heart is like an apple tree, whose boughs are bent with thick-set fruit. My heart is like a rainbow shell that paddles in a halcyon sea. My heart is gladder than all these, because my love is come to me. Raise me a dais of silk and down, hang it with vair and purple dyes. Carve it in doves and pomegranates, and peacocks with 100 eyes. Work it in gold and silver grapes, in leaves and silver fleur-de-lis, because the birthday of my life is come, my love is come to me. Put that there in case you want to pause it and read it. But you can easily find that online. It was over 100 years ago that was written, 150 years ago probably. So obviously, let's face it, you've got new love coming. You're going to meet someone very soon. I think for some of you this is someone that you've never met before, but actually I'm going to have to say for a lot of you I think this is someone that you like and have been working to attract into your life, whether they're somebody that you work with or somebody that you just know through friends. I think that you've been trying to build a connection between the two of you, and I think what's going to happen next is that you actually manage to do it, because there's this feeling that it's my birthday because my love has come. So whichever way resonates for you, you've been manifesting through law of attraction or whatever, or just trying to attract this person that you already know about, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to work. Giving you now a more general reading that you can apply to each situation. You've been really hoping for this, hoping for love, hoping for this person. And the Justice card, the story behind it in the Jupiter tree is it's sort of a Snow White type story, but it doesn't involve kings or queens. It just involves a rich merchant and his beautiful wife really desperately want a baby, but they can't have one. And the wife is underneath a juniper tree peeling apples, and she cuts a finger, a bit like me, cuts a finger, and as it's bleeding, she's just, oh, I wish I had a beautiful baby. Well, she does get pregnant. She has a beautiful baby boy, and she dies afterwards, you know. And all she asks her husband is to be buried under the juniper tree. And he remarries, has a daughter with the second wife, but the second wife hates his son, this evidence of his first marriage, and she treats him horribly. And one day she just beats him and chops his head off. You know, it's a gruesome story, it's one of the Grimms. And tries to cover it up by just tying his head back onto his body, sits him there and gives him an apple to make it look like he's just sitting there with an apple. And when the daughter comes back, her brother won't talk to her. What are you doing? She gives him a whack and his head falls off and she thinks she's killed him. And the mother says to her daughter, you have killed your brother. And she chops up and cooks the brother in a meal and feeds it to the father. And the bones are under the table. And the father says, well, where's my son? And the daughter is devastated. She picks up all the bones and she runs out with them and throws them underneath the juniper tree. And then under the juniper tree, a phoenix arises. And he's got presents. He's got a gold chain, which you can just about see here, which he gives to his father. He gives red shoes to his sister. And the stepmother's like, you know, she's beside herself. What am I going to get? What's going to be happening, you know? And she comes out to meet with her husband and daughter, and the moment she comes out, the phoenix drops the millstone on her head, kills her. Justice, that's what she got. She reaped what she has sown, and that's the story behind the Justice card. Your actions have consequences. You know, in that sense, law of attraction, facing the consequences of your actions, karma. You know, you get your just desserts. All these phrases. I don't want to say to you, you're thinking, no, what do you mean I'm going to get a millstone dropping on my head, killing me? No, you've got a positive reading. What you have done is worked through all your negative stuff, like your shadow side. You have overcome what's caused you to be in bad relationships. You know, your own stuff, like, you know, it's 50-50 when a relationship falls apart. We're all complicit in what happens in a relationship, whether it's good and whether it's bad. And you could have been mainly good, but you've chosen the wrong person. So you've been complicit in that by constantly going out with people that were unsuitable for you, that were incompatible in some way. What you've done, I think, is recognise and have meditated and sought through and gone through and worked through all your rubbish so that now you know why you end up in a bad relationship. And I think you're much more self-aware when you do come across problems in any kind of relationship that you have in your life of how to work your way through it. I think you understand what's worth fighting about and what's not worth fighting about, what's worth fighting for and what's not. You've basically grown from each rubbish relationship, and this is why this new relationship has such great potential, because you've been there, done it, you've learned. And I think because you've done all this self-work, because you've really cleared out all the rubbish, you've worked through all your issues, and you've always kept your focus on your hope and desire for a long-term relationship, a new love, a proper kind of romance where your heart takes flight and all the rest of it. Because you've worked so hard at that, you're getting what you deserve. You've never really given up on it, and you've been willing to work towards it. So let's see what I can get from who's going to come into your new life. Or if this is a current relationship, it's you've worked through all the rubbish that's spoiled your relationship or made it difficult in the past, but because you've always been really working hard, and I think talking to each other a lot about what's been going wrong in this relationship, that you're sort of getting a revival in it, you're getting a new sense of love in the relationship, and that you're going to be courting each other a lot more, you're going to be really romantic to each other and nurturing the love between yourselves in this relationship. And I think you can have a bit of breathing space, that in fact what's coming up now for you in your love life is the chance to enjoy love itself with someone that you're currently with, or someone new. So meeting someone new, you definitely get this feeling that it's going to be very soon. So you just make it, as it says, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Get it clear in your mind what it is that you really do want from a person in a relationship. If you're not sure, I think it's meditation brings answers. I think this isn't going to be through anything social, I don't think, and not through work. I think you're going to be communicating with this person in some way. And it could be something spiritual, and I think it's something you do for relaxation. It's something you do for fun. So maybe it's on a forum or a message board or whatever the crazy kids are doing these days to talk to each other online, social media, but because it's something that you enjoy. And I think that's where the compatibility comes in as well, is that you both are into this sort of thing. And I think you're definitely going to be talking with them. If it's not online, it can still be in person, that you go off to do something that you really, really enjoy. It brings you a lot of happiness. You know, it's a hobby, or it's just like an interest of yours. And you look and you think, yeah, I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to go and see a concert. You're going to go to the cinema, or you're going to go off and watch a sports game or something. You're just going to go and do something for fun, whatever that is for you. And I think you're going to get talking with somebody there, and it's just going to click. I think you're just going to get good feelings. You know, and the poem tells you that as well. It's saying that her heart is on fire because her love is with her. Her love, let's find some of the lines. Because my love is come to me, my love is here. There's this feeling of recognition I feel from your part that this is a really great person and that you want to make the best of it. And they will too. So that's what's ahead of you. I think you're going to meet someone new or make things great in your current relationship. So there you go, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want a private reading from me, they're open at the moment. So contact me at oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. Check the description box. Everything you need to know is in there. Don't forget to have a look at my book. And thank you for listening to my reading. Take very good care of yourself, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose number 3, the golden wrapped toffee, this is your reading. Before we get started, I want to remind you all that I have written an ebook on learning how to read tarot cards. It's called Learn Tarot by Oak Tree. I've put the link in the description box, so please click it and have a look at the book, especially if you're really interested in learning tarot cards for yourself. I've got, the knowledge that I've accumulated in over 20 years of reading them, and lots on the cards themselves. So it's a really great book to start off with on your tarot journey, so you can acquire this knowledge for yourself. So what's going to happen next in your love life? So we start off with the 2 of Wands. Ooh, and the Knight of Swords, Bluebeard, that's a fairy tale tarot. Carry me home, support, time to be carried, allow others to help. Lemon, bitterness, there's a story developing here. Lady Goddess, feminine. Soulmate, yes, this is your soulmate. And communicate clearly. Now, one of the things I really like in lots of other pick a card tarot readings is that they'll do things like they'll do like a song or something from your future lover, or a letter or something. Well, my thing I thought would be love poems. So I'm going to shuffle out. I've got different love poems written on each of these, and I'm going to shuffle out and put the love poem down and add that into the reading, incorporate it. That one wanted out. Let's have a look. Permissive Society, Connie Bensley. Now we had that for the first reading as well. So, Permissive Society. Wake, for the dawn has put the stars to flight, and in my bed a stranger. So once more, what seemed to be a good idea last night appears this morning sober, rather poor. And that makes perfect sense in regards to your reading. So, what does your reading tell me? I think what's happening next in your love life is you're going to be getting yourself out of a relationship that's not really leading anywhere. For some of you, it's quite a negative relationship, because we've got the Bluebeard card, and I think most of us know the story of Bluebeard, but just a quick rundown. Bluebeard was a rich man, lived in a big castle, and he'd had 6 wives. He got a bit of a reputation of running through them, so he had to go a reasonable distance and out of his sort of social class to find a wife, another wife, his 7th wife, which is this young lady. So she gets married, her brothers leave her at the castle, and they sort of say, if you ever come into any trouble, he's got a bad reputation, but if there's anything goes wrong, you contact us and we'll come running. And she's all, no, everything will be fine, it will be fine. So, just got married, and Bluebeard says, here's my castle, you're allowed to go anywhere, but not this room. This room is locked to you, you cannot go in. So Bluebeard has to go off travelling to do something, and he leaves the master key, the key to the doors in the castle, and he says to his wife, do not open the door, the locked door. I will know if you have gone into that room. So off he goes, and of course she can't resist. She must know. It's like sort of in a way, sort of, does she trust him? No. There's a story there, why doesn't he want her to go in? So she opens up the door and she finds the body of his 6 previous wives, all horribly murdered. So she panics and she locks the door again, but when she pulls the key out, the key is stained red, like red with blood. And no matter what she does, she cannot clean the red off the key. It's just obvious she has been in the room. So when Bluebeard comes back, he asks for the key. She has to give it back to him. He notices straight away, you went into the room, I told you not to, now you must pay the price. And bend your neck, I'm going to kill you now. You know, it's now time for you to die, and essentially be the 7th bride in that room. Sorry, I missed that. She's previously sent a message to her brother saying, I think you need to come and get me. Finding 6 dead bodies in a cupboard would do that for you. And her brothers come just in time to rescue her. They kill Bluebeard, and because she's his last wife and he didn't have any heirs, this is why he kept on going through wives. They didn't get pregnant, so he had to keep getting another wife to get her pregnant, but the problem was probably his. So she inherits the castle, and her family live comfortably ever after. So what do I say? Why have I told that story? Because, and why has the story come up through this, is it's now time for you to leave something. It's either a bad relationship, it doesn't have to be as awful as the whole situation with Bluebeard. It could be just that this person's perfectly lovely, they're never going to physically hurt you or abuse you in any way. It's just that they run through lots and lots of relationships. You know, that they're sort of the person that sticks with short-term love affairs and never let it turn into a grown-up relationship. And sort of the message is it's time to look elsewhere. The one of the aspects of the Bluebeard story that struck me as well is the wife of Bluebeard is constantly looking out over the hill for the sight of her brothers coming over the hill to her. She keeps on delaying Bluebeard. Like, one of the stories is he keeps on saying, why are you keeping me waiting, wife? You come here, you can't get out of your punishment. And she only eventually goes when she sees her brothers riding over the hill to come and rescue her. So I feel that for some of you, the message is the support is there. Others will help. Let them help you and carry you. Even if you're very independent and you like being the strong person to help others, you don't like being the one to receive help. The message is no, you've got to let other people help you, particularly if you're in a really bad situation in terms of your love life. If this is not about a past relationship or a current one, and it could be about a past relationship, the message is still there that you haven't dealt with the issues surrounding it. And it's now time, what's got to happen next is that you do allow other people to help you get through this, to get over whatever is represented in this Bluebeard Knight of Swords story. Because you're meant to be looking out for new love, to find your soulmate and to reconnect with someone new. I will say for a start off, I don't think for a second the nasty, abusive person or the person who's let you down and not fulfilled their promises even, they're not your soulmate. The message is that you're meant to meet your soulmate, and you're meant to, I think actually you're meant to move away from whoever this Bluebeard person was in your past. Like, they've really hurt you. They've dug their claws in and left scars. And it's sort of put you off meeting new people. Well, the message is that there's somebody out there for you. And you're not going to meet them because you're trapped in this current relationship or this really old relationship. It's left you bitter. And if you're in a relationship where, as I say, it doesn't have to be abusive, but you're recognising that it's not bringing out the best qualities in you, it's actually causing you to be quite bitter, then it's time, as I say, to reach out and expand and get away from whatever this situation is. It's time to move on from it, and only you can do that. You have to be the one to reach out and say to them, actually, I'll recognise I'm not in a good place because I haven't really got over what happened. Or I've got to be honest with you, this relationship that I'm in is toxic. I mean, if you're in an abusive relationship, it's time to get out now. You know, you don't need to stay there. People are absolutely more than willing to get you out of that relationship. All you have to do is communicate clearly and truthfully about what's been happening, and they will come and help you and get you out. They don't want you to be there. The brothers immediately came to rescue their sister, and it worked out well for them. This is about being in touch with your feelings and about having care and empathy and consideration for you, showing the same compassion you would to other people, to yourself. You got to think, if any of your loved ones was in this situation, would you like it that they stayed there, or would you rather they asked you for help? And permissive society is telling you that it's all right to at one point think that a certain partner is a very good idea, that they're actually really attractive and that you don't necessarily see them very clearly. And it's all right to wake up, you know, or come to the realisation that they are not who you thought they were, that you now no longer recognise them, and actually now that you see them more clearly, they are not attractive at all and they're not the sort of person you want to be with. It's absolutely fine to recognise that. So I do feel that this is less about you're going to meet somebody immediately, but more you're not going to meet them until you get out of this toxic relationship that you might be in, or you know, if this is about a marriage that you do want to keep going and they're not abusive, they're not nasty, they're not evil or anything like that, it's just that you've got a fracture in the relationship. Even it could still be counselling, that you get external help through counselling where you have a third person, a mediator, who's not going to take either person's side and actually sort of help you both through the issue so that you can come and meet in some common ground. Because not every single person watching this video that's made this choice where it does resonate is trapped in a terrible relationship. It's just one that's not doing very well at the moment. And the message is still, you must get help now. to deal with this situation. And for those of you where you realise you are in a sort of a dead-end relationship or one that's really unhealthy for you, it's fine to just look back and say it's just not going to work. And as I say, asking people to, maybe you need to stay at their place for a bit or get them to help you move out or whatever. But you don't want to be bitter, and you do want your soulmate. Your soulmate might be the person that sort of helps you get out of this situation for some of you. Or that there's somebody else out there that is your soulmate. And if you do feel that this is your soulmate and that this situation, this relationship can work on it, communicate clearly, show this compassion and empathy and softness towards yourself and the relationship, and it can work. Yeah, I think that's the reading. I think that's what I'm meant to tell you, is that if it's really, really bad, it's time to get out. If it's one where it's not that type of relationship, but it isn't going the way you would hope, there's work to be done. I do feel there's two sort of readings there. Reach out, look out, find help, and for whatever reason you need to find the help, but go and look for the help that you need and you will find it. And don't be ashamed of recognising that some of you have made a poor decision. So that's your reading, those of you. If you feel after that you want a private reading, you can contact me to get one. All the information you need is in the description box. Just send me an email at oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com and I will get right back to you. But you take very good care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye.